challenge is how to make it happen. And what does it mean to be creative? My belief is the leader's creative thinking could actually be restricting. If a company all look to one person, the CEO or the leader, to be creative, a little bit like people assume Apple look to Steve Jobs. So I think it's more important, if you want your company to succeed in the long term, to be successful in the long term, to get the whole organization to be creative. Most new ideas are not totally new. Most new ideas feel old ideas but combined in a different way. I mean, now, iPad or this whole series of something, they're not new. When you go back to, maybe 25 years ago, the new thing was the Walkman. And Walkman is just a cassette recorder, cassette player, which is not new. But what is new is miniaturized and then become personal. You can plug, it into your ear. So most creative things, innovative things like that, take a few not so new ideas and recombine. It's quite logical, right? If you want a few not so new ideas come together, you need to break boundaries. So you need to bring people from different disciplines together. And it's the intermix of different groups of people, that collaboration that will create new stuff. In a university environment, we have different schools. And traditionally, it's very difficult to get different schools to work together. And therefore, university is supposed to be innovative and create new stuff. But because of the structure, very often are not so creative. And most large organizations, well structured, and that could be a barrier to innovation and creative thinking. So I think a creative leader would create an environment where people from different departments and different disciplines come together, and then that creative spark, I think, would thrive. The other way for a leader to facilitate, encourage more creative thinking is to listen to the customer. I think it's a very common saying that necessity is the mother of invention. So you talk to your customers, you listen to your customers, they can tell you a lot of problems they face. And the problems are very often the mother of your creative invention. Formal education, maybe in the old days, is about learning established knowledge. So you learn about all the mathematicians and scientists, what they have discovered in the past. And if I use a modern term, it's about contents. So you learn about contents. And we pick up tools, engineers, we learn about how to calculate and build pictures and all that. So those continue to be important. But I think that's one half of it, learning knowledge. The other half would be to acquire life skills like how to think, how to solve problems, how to work in teams. So formal education, I suppose it's called formal education because it needs to a qualification, whether bachelor degree, master degree. So it's still important in that people need to acquire knowledge. People also need to have qualifications so the employers and other people can look at the qualification and know this person would have knowledge up to a certain level. But I think formal education as delivered by universities also need to evolve and go beyond just passing content and knowledge to the students, but also help them to learn how to collaborate, communicate, work in teams and think and all those other things. The first thing we do is to bring different education programs from different parts of the world. How does it make a difference? Now, if we are a traditional university, we would create our own program. We'll build our own faculty, and our faculty members would then design the curriculum. That's how traditional universities operate. I think the challenge of this is you are then limited by how fast you can recruit and retain your faculty. You are restricted by how fast your faculty can develop curriculum, new courses that respond to the latest. If I go around the world, there's so many universities all trying to do this. So I just I do not necessarily bring the best, but I bring the most appropriate. And since I can go to any countries in the world to find a partner and bring the programs to this location called Singapore, I have a lot more flexibility. Then I bring students in from around the region, and of course our students also need to look for a job when they graduate. So we get constant feedback from students, prospective students, employers, prospective employers, what they are looking for. So in a way, we, instead of create a very self-contained environment, we create an environment which is somewhat like the real world, globalized world. What we are able to do is to create an environment so the students, if they put in the effort, they can acquire those skills. So that's a very different mental model. We are not saying if you learn A to Z and then we'll teach you A to Z, then you can do this, do that. We create an environment where you can learn. So the effort has to come from the student.